What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. So guys, before we talk about any watches, I want to just quickly thank each and every one of you that checked out the TimeTellerShop.com. We sold out of every single watch in the first 8 hours. Blew my mind. I am so grateful. Now guys, the watch prints are all still available if you want to check those out. And we're actually going to be adding some more vintage luxury watches to the site in the very near future. And if the other night was any indication of how quickly they get scooped up, you guys do not want to miss out because, again, in the first 8 hours, boom, everything was gone. So thank you so much, guys. I love you. But today we're going to be talking about a little prototype that I have in this box, the Beaufort? We're just gonna call it the Aero Timer. So hear me out. Being a watch guy on YouTube, you know, I have the ability to kind of spend some time with a lot of different micro brands, and some of those are prototypes, right? Watches that haven't yet been brought to market. But very rarely is there a prototype that is like just right off the bat something I would want for my own collection. But once in a while, a micro brand just nails it. So let's go ahead, open this box, and take a look at the Beaufort Aero Timer. Beaufort, it's an Aero Timer. And again, there's really no point in me trying to pronounce it properly because someone in the comment section is going to tell me it's wrong anyway, but let's just open the box. It is 3:07 p.m. Let's get down to business. All right, let's go ahead and crack this baby open. Beaufort Aero Timer. Nice thick stock box, feels very solid. Let's go ahead and open it though, because we're not reviewing boxes here, we're reviewing watches. Now, you right off the bat probably know why I love this watch already, and salmon, baby. Salmon. Let's go ahead, get even closer and look at this beautiful watch. All right, so as I've mentioned many times before on this channel, I have a bit of a fetish when it comes to salmon dial watches, and boy, does this watch scratch an itch for me. Look at that beautiful salmon dial. Now, one thing I will say is, you know, we're not a white glove channel here on YouTube. I'm not gonna break out the white gloves to review a watch, but the polished finish on this case is an absolute smudge magnet. So if that bothers you, I do apologize, but you know, definitely not going to start wearing the gloves now. We got a B on the crown for Beaufort. And yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of the specs on this Beaufort Aero Timer. All right, so you'll notice I put the watch on my wrist as we talk about the specs, because we got to talk about the dimensions here, and you guys need to know what it looks like on my beautiful 7.5-inch wrist. So let's go ahead. Okay, let's stop beating around the bush here. It's got a California dial. You either love them or you hate them. I absolutely love California dials because they remind me of my Rolex Bubbleback 2940, but I understand kind of a turnoff for some people. Now you'll see it playing with the light here. It's got a sapphire crystal. Now this watch is 40 millimeters, okay, but that's not all. It's got a 48.5 millimeter lug to lug, which will make it wear a bit large on some people. Now again, I have a 7.5-inch wrist. I think it wears quite nicely on my wrist, but I could see someone that, you know, is a little bit smaller, having this be a little bit large on them. Now, it's 11.45 millimeters thick, and that may sound big, but it's actually wears quite flat on your wrist. Now, let's go ahead. It's got a nice deployant clasp here. Let's go ahead. It is also signed. Here, let me see if I can get it in focus. But let's look at the display case back. It's probably a little bit smudged from my wrist. You'll notice here it's got an automatic Sellita SW201 movement. This is a Swiss movement. You're getting hacking and hand wind. I'm a big fan of Sellita. I get a lot of people asking me, ETA or Sellita. I think, you know, I think they'll both do the job, guys. So yeah, hacking, hand wind, date complication down here at the 6 o'clock. Now guys, being a watch connoisseur, I am very picky about date complications. Incredibly picky. I really don't like it when it's a 4 o'clock date window. I don't like these wonky date windows. I'm a bigger fan of 3 o'clock date windows and 6 o'clock date windows, and they did it very nicely. Another thing I really like about this Aero Timer is that it's got a 100-meter water resistance rating. No threaded crown, but that's fine. This isn't a dive watch. This is a watch that you could wear daily. Very elegant, but again, functional enough that you don't have to baby it because it's got that 100-meter water resistance rating. All right, let's go ahead and, I just want to wear it. Let's go ahead and put it on the wrist again. All right, well guys, if you couldn't tell, I am just a little bit excited about this Aero timer. And it's kind of crazy because Microbrands don't typically get me all giddy inside, right? Like, it's not very common that I see a prototype that makes me think, wow, this is very well executed. This is something I would personally wear. This is something I would personally buy. You know, the Boulder Expedition was like that, and this Aero timer is like that. It just has the details in all the right places. It has the attributes that I really like, right? California dial, salmon dial, sapphire crystal, 100-meter water resistance rating. Now, if you guys recall, I made an episode a little while ago about the Microbrand only watch collection. So could you curate a watch collection of only Microbrands? Like, is that possible? And the one issue I had in that episode is that I couldn't really recommend an elegant dress watch from a Microbrand, right? Sports watch, easy. Microbrands make sports watches every single day. Daily watch, boom, easy. But I couldn't really think of a nicely well executed, detailed, elegant Microbrand dress watch. And I think this Aero timer kind of nails it, right? It's sharp, it's elegant, and it's simple. And again, 6 o'clock date window, has stout, sturdy, sharp hands. You know, I hate to see a nice Microbrand watch with really cheap hands. It's crazy, that happens all the time. The hands are the area of the watch you look at most regularly because the hands are what helps you tell the freaking time. So I don't know why Microbrands kind of cheap out on the hands, but this, again, the Aero timer has very stout, sharp, sturdy hands. And again, not a lot of Microbrands do elegant watches properly, but Beaufort, something is going on over in New Zealand because those guys at Beaufort make some crazy nice watches. Now, if you're not interested in the salmon dial variant, if you're not, you know, a seafood lover like myself, a New Englander, then they do have some other dial variants for you, but me personally, I would go with this beautiful salmon dial watch, and I might just have to add one of these to my collection. Unfortunately, I cannot keep this one because this is the prototype and this is going back to the boys in New Zealand. I might just want to keep it just a little bit longer, just a little bit longer. So yeah, guys, I'm a big fan of this Aero timer. I think it's incredibly well detailed, especially for being a Microbrand prototype, and especially from coming from Microbrand that I'd never heard of before. So yeah, very, very impressive. Very good first impression. I'm eager to see what the production models would look like, and maybe I can get one for myself. But leave me a comment, guys. What do you think of this watch? Again, 40 millimeters, but it's got a little bit above a 48 lug to lug. So again, might wear a little bit big on some of you smaller wristed people, but all in all, very, very impressive watch. Leave me a comment, shop around at the Time Teller shop, link in the description below. You keep me here on YouTube and you support the channel when you do that. Thank you for supporting the shop. Thank you for supporting the channel. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you know when I upload. I upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday with a live stream Q&A every single Saturday, rain or shine, and that bell icon lets you get notified so you don't miss out on the fun. And yeah, guys, I'm going to be playing with this Aero timer for a little bit longer, and then I'm going to be sending it back, unfortunately. But thank you for checking out the episode, guys. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller. Always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it. Real quick, if you enjoyed this episode, then do not worry, the fun doesn't need to stop here. Check out these recommended episodes that are going to be popping up on the screen anytime now. Also, take a moment, check out my brand new channel, the Time Away channel. It's where I talk about everything outside of the watch world, some of my other collections, some of my other hobbies. And if you're not interested in any of that, don't worry, just stay right here and I will see you right here. Because I never leave. I am trapped inside of this camera.